hazard pay heats up. But will you get that $10,000 from the federal government, or will they try to reduce the amount in a second stimulus package? Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update today. This one about hazard pay, that $10,000 from the federal government proposed by the Democrats that would pay you for your time as an essential worker working during the pandemic. Big updates today, and boy, I'm not going to mince my words. I am going to tell it as the bad and the good and the ugly. I'm worried. I'm worried because today we got confirmation from the Republicans about what's in their second stimulus package. They confirmed there's rent grant assistance. They confirmed there's extension of FPUC. They confirmed there's a second stimulus check. They confirmed all the great things that this channel has been hammering home, and even rent assistance, which I feared they weren't going to include. And then came hazard pay. No mention of it again. Ultimately, I want to explain to you where we are and what's happening. So stay with me, stay positive, stay motivated. Part of the big problem of this, and I'm going to say it's almost 75% of the problem of this, is not the Republicans, it's the news reporters. They're not asking the darn question. So Steve Mnuchin appeared on Sunday Morning Talk News with Fox Sunday Morning News, and Larry Kudlow, the most beloved person of this channel after Mitch McConnell, appeared on CNN. And they both confirmed that the second stimulus package from the Republicans will be debuted on Monday, that Mitch McConnell has nothing to do with it anymore, more about that in a second, and that it will include second stimulus check, extension of FPUC, and rent assistance grant programs. But the reporters who seem to always forget that there's that darn thing called hazard pay didn't ask about hazard pay. So does it have it in there or does it not? Ultimately, it's going to be 24 hours of real nail biting for viewers of this channel who are waiting for that hazard pay to see if the Republicans are going to propose it on Monday. We just don't know. So I don't want you to lose hope, but I don't want you to lose, have false wishes. Ironically, one thing that is really working in your benefit for a hazard pay is the following. Steve Mnuchin also confirmed today, as Larry Kudlow actually did as well, that gone is that silliness of Mitch McConnell that there's going to be 20 different bills for all different subjects, and we're going to do a check as a bill, and we're going to do, rent. We're going to do rent assistance as a bill, and we're going to do landlord liability as a bill. No. The Republicans are now confirming it's going to be only a package. They're back on track. It's going to be a second stimulus package that has every single thing in there. So is the Republican package going to have hazard pay in there? We don't know. The Democrats were hammering on Friday. That's when they heard Mitch McConnell saying that he wanted separate bills for every single subject piecemeal. The Democrats said, with using the word piecemeal, no, we're not doing that. Sorry, Mitch, we're not piecemealing. You agree to everything together. And ironically, this is what happened. As Friday afternoon, Mitch McConnell went home, either voluntarily or by encouragement of the White House, and has not been seen. Steve Mnuchin appeared on the Capitol and told press he was going to the Capitol with the chief of staff of the White House. Said he was going to meet with leading Republicans on the Hill. He did, came out, and after having met with them, had press ready and said, you know what, we have an agreement, we're ready to go. Thank you so much, see you Monday morning, and we're going to debut it. Ironically, no less than 24 hours earlier, Mitch McConnell was putting matches to the flame of his own party by saying that we will get to the second stimulus package in 2 to 3 weeks from now. And every news channel ran that quote, and everyone's jaw dropped like, did he just really say that? Needless to say, after he said that, he disappeared from town, either voluntarily or at the encouragement of the White House. and he is no longer involved with the second stimulus package in the way he was days before. Steve Mnuchin and Mitch McConnell had been drafting the second stimulus package. They had told news that they were. They couldn't get to an agreement. They were supposed to debut it a week ago. They didn't debut it, and we didn't know what was going on. Ultimately, Steve Mnuchin confirmed that there was a spat. He said the spat was embellished by news reporters, but he did confirm there's a spat. But what he also did confirm was he went to the Hill without Mitch. Mitch was out of town, and he got agreement from everyone on the Hill about what's going in there. But is hazard pay in there? No. And I know there's someone that's going to come in the car. Just get to the point. Get to the point. Are we going to hazard pay? Get to the point. Are we going to have hazard? I don't have a point. The point is that no news reporter asked Steve and the chief of staff if there's hazard pay in the bill, and we're going to find out tomorrow. But the great news is that the packages will be negotiated together, and one of the packages has hazard pay in it. The way the Capitol works is that when there are two competing bills, they have to negotiate them together. So Steve Mnuchin is confirming the second stimulus package from the White House will be a package. It won't be piecemealed, and it will be negotiated with the Democrats' package, the HEROES Act. They will start doing them Monday, and they'll have them done in the next 2 weeks. We have 2 working weeks starting from this coming Monday to the all next week, and then we have the week after that, which lands at when they have their vacation. So they're going to get it done. The question is whether hazard pay is actually in there. I have seen your comments to yesterday's hazard pay video. First of all, boy, almost no one watched yesterday's hazard pay video, which is very disconcerting because I saw some of the comments and people said, I already watched the stimulus check video, and if they're not giving us reoccurring checks, they're certainly not giving us $10,000. That was the comment that I saw over and over again. People really had lost faith in the Republicans when they heard that there weren't going to be consecutive stimulus checks, when they heard the Republicans were proposing only a $1,200 stimulus check, when they heard that Donald Trump was now reverting, flip-flopping from having said he was going to give you a generous second stimulus check to now more than $1,200 to now saying he's only giving you $1,200. Viewers came into the comments of the hazard pay video and yesterday said, well, if they're not going to even give you $2,000 for a second stimulus check, they're not going to give you $10,000 for hazard pay. Maybe, maybe not, but you could use that argument for rent assistance, that if they're not going to give $2,000 for second stimulus checks, why would they give grant money for rent? Well, they are. At least that's what they told Sunday Morning News. So it's just all over the place. And when asked about unemployment benefits, $600 FPUC, which is now expired, Steve Mnuchin keeps on talking about the 70% number, but he doesn't say it's a hard, fast rule. He doesn't say that's $300 or $400 a week. He just says 70%. So don't lose faith in hazard pay is my bottom line. We just really don't know, and we don't see an opposition from it from the Republicans. We haven't seen Kudlow or Mnuchin say, I don't like hazard pay. I'm not putting hazard pay in there. Dead on arrival. We haven't heard those words. So take it as it is. Here's the other rub. Hazard pay on a local level is really turning into a hot mess as well. Here's more bad news. So stores like Amazon, which also owns Whole Foods, temporarily boosted hazard pay from $17 an hour from $15 an hour during the first round of the pandemic. Kroger, Albertsons, Rite Aid, Stop and Shop also upped their minimum wage hours by $2 an hour during the first wave of the pandemic for hazard pay. But are they doing it for the second one? No. Now, as new coronavirus cases rise across the country, hazard pay is not returning yet. Hazard pay is often referred to as hero pay, has largely disappeared, says a brand new report today. Hazard pay is not in place in many of the locations which I just cited the first time around. Kroger, Rite Aid ended hazard pay in May. Amazon and Albertson ended hazard pay in June. And Stop and Shop ended hazard pay earlier this month. None of them have indicated they're going to bring back hazard pay. The only one that has is Walmart, which I always, I don't get paid by Walmart to say anything good about them, but I really like the company. They have already indicated there's hazard pay. It's coming to you if you're working currently or have worked during this pandemic at Walmart, whether it's online or in the stores, whether it's temporary or full-time. and it's a good sum of money, a decent sum of money. It's $500-$600 approximately, a little bit less if you're temporary. It's not $10,000, of course, but they are paying it, and they're not saying they're not going to pay it again. They're just saying that we're paying it for now. But these other stores are ending hazard pay. Susan Herrera's, who is a clerk at Food for Less, which is which is a subsidiary or a brand of Kroger here in Los Angeles, was interviewed, and she said, "What is it like working as an essential worker in a grocery store where you're not getting hazard pay, that extra $2 an hour, since May?" She says, "We're out there every day. We're dealing with customers who are not complying with safety measures like wearing masks. The way I see it, hazard pay is a very small price to pay for what we're dealing with every day. We're putting our lives on the line." She's absolutely right. Kroger said the company invested more than $830 million in rewards and appreciation pay. We continue to listen to our associates take steps to ensure their safety and well-being. We'll also continue to execute dozens of safety measures to provide support to our associates. Doesn't say they're paying hazard pay. What this challenge also details that unions have been really great. I have told you, if you're in your union, contact your union representative. If you're not in a union, contact the union representative who is aligned for your industry. For example, if you work at a market that's not unionized, contact the union rep for the markets in your area for markets that are unionized. They are actually hitting back at these big companies and saying, "Hey, you need to pay our union employees hazard pay. We're not going to tolerate this." This is the time in which unions do a really good job, and they're really coming, and the union at issue was the grocery union, and they're hitting Kroger very hard. They're saying, "You need to pay these people hazard pay." When asked for a quote, Rite Aid and Albertson refused to comment on the story. Awful. Amazon said that the company has given its employees nearly $800 million in hazard pay. With demand stabilizing, we return to our industry-leading starting wage of $15 an hour. With demand stabilizing. That doesn't cut it, Amazon. The point of hazard pay is that people are doing things in a hazardous environment. COVID-19 cases are out of control. COVID-19 cases are rising, and people are risking their lives. Hazard pay has nothing to do whether there's a demand or little demand for buying some bar of soap. Hazard pay has nothing to do with demand for product. Hazard pay has to do with whether essential workers are risking their lives. So this quote from Amazon is the most insane quote I've ever heard from a tech company this month. A spokesman from Stop and Shop spoke about hazard pay. The purpose of this temporary extra pay was to recognize associates for their hard work during this unprecedented surge in demand and customer traffic. As the states continue to reopen, we return to pre-COVID levels of traffic and demand. Again, missing the point of COVID-19 and hazard pay. They're basically saying, okay, we're going to give you more money because we made more money because we had a lot of people in the stores. Now that we don't have a lot of people in the stores, we're not going to give you a bonus. It's basically saying that hazard pay is based upon how much they sell in their store. And if there are not a lot of people coming back in their stores, they're not going to pay you hazard pay, even though the hazard is still there. Boy, someone should tell them that's not what hazard pay is. Hazard pay. Oh, here's the article. I didn't even read the next sentence. Hazard pay, also originally known as danger pay. It's called danger pay, Amazon. It's called danger pay, Stop and Shop. It's not called thank you pay because we had a lot of people in the store. It's called danger pay. Originated outside of the United States. Originated in the military during World War II when soldiers, reporters, and entertainers received additional compensation for assignments in war-torn areas, says Kate Bronferrenner, Director of Labor Relations at Cornell University. Employers picked up the practice sometime after the war, offering the employers additional payment to recruit dangerous, unpleasant, or physically demanding jobs. Yes, hazard pay means hazard. It means danger pay. It doesn't mean there's more people in the store buying canned corn. Just because there's more people in the store buying canned corn doesn't mean it's hazard pay. It means that there's more COVID-19 cases in your city and your city's on lockdown and people are dying. That's called hazard pay. There was no formula for calculating hazard pay the first time around, says Shura Now, a professor at Columbia University. It was based upon what workers are willing to work without accepting the job or quitting. Kroger, Amazon, Albertson had offered employees cash bonuses. Target announced it was hiking the minimum wage from $15 to $13 an hour, but that was only at $2 an hour during the pandemic at the time. Ending hazard pay makes no sense, says UFCW President Mark Perrone. Mark, if you're watching this channel, contact me. I want to feature you, because this one, hazard pay is the bill that is really just not getting the attention, and employees are really getting away with crap. I just said it, crap. Our members and grocery workers across the country continue to show up to work during these pandemics, risking their health in order to serve our communities. Well said. No one is getting this message out there, Mark, except me and, the unions. Other channels aren't talking about hazard pay. Broadcast news is not talking about hazard pay. I literally go online. As you know, I prepare for our stories daily. I go online, I look for hazard pay Congress. I look for stories on hazard pay in Congress. Democrats aren't talking about it. Republicans aren't talking about it. No one in the Senate is talking about it. No one in the House is talking about it. No one is getting the message out about hazard pay except the unions and me. It's just insane. If employers don't have to provide for hazard pay, they won't. The fact that many companies have ended their hazard pay policy tells me they feel like it's no longer needed to attract workers, says Nicole Hallett, a vice president at Cornell University. Not true. We detailed the story yesterday in which businesses are now showing people are not coming back to hazardous environments, that they're taking other jobs like remote call centers that are paying the same amount of money or more because they're not hazardous, they're at home, they're with their family, they're not risking their lives, and they know that they're not going to be susceptible to contracting COVID-19. If you have questions in today's video, drop them in the comments below. A lot of big, great, shocking news today. I told you Sunday was going to be this way. It's always the case because they appear on the Sunday morning news channels and they finally explain what the hell's going on. Well, here we go. Get ready for Monday. Stay with me on Monday, because Monday is just going to be a lot of fun, because the Republicans are going to debut everything and we're going to find out what's happening with hazard pay. As always, stay motivated, stay informed, stay educated, stay smiling, and stay of LA for more.